Hello, friends. Hello, my young learners, my young viewers. I hope you're enjoying your days safe at home with your parents and enjoying the lessons also. Today, I, Rakhi Mishra, welcome you to this session where we'll be enjoying, trying to understand a beautiful poem from your text, that is The Lake Isle of Innisfree by W.B. Yeats. We are going to discuss a very beautiful poem titled The Lake Isle of Innisfree by William Butler Yeats. Now, before we go to the understanding, the appreciation part of the poem, we also must know about the poet. This great poet, who is one of the greatest romantic poets, and the best part is that he had contributed in the last part of the 19th century as well as in the beginning of the 20th century. So he is known both as a modern poet, a romantic poet. He was born in Dublin on June 13 in 1865. His father, John Butler Yeats, was an Irish painter and barrister. Mother, Susanne Mary Pollexfen from Sligo. This place from where his mother belonged to has got a lot of significance and influence in his life. We'll see how. He was educated in Metropolitan School of Art in Dublin. This great poet is also a Nobel laureate. He received his Nobel Prize in 1923. He was not only a poet but also a dramatist, and there are a lot of publications in his name. I have listed some of them. His first one, the first book of poems, was published in 1889, The Wanderings of Oisin and Other Poems. Then the collection of Irish folklore. He was very much influenced by and attracted, you can say, by the Irish folk tales and the stories. Fairy and Folk Tales in 1888. He also has written a drama, The Countess Kathleen, in 1892. And there are 12 volumes of poems which he had written over a period of, say, from 1889 to 1935. And the last volume was published posthumously, that is, The Last Poems. This was published after his death. And he died on 28 January 1939. Now about the poem. The poem that we are going to read today, The Lake Isle of Innisfree, this poem had first appeared in a magazine, The National Observer, in 1890, and later was included in a volume of poems, The Rose, in 1893, when he was in London. It's a lyrical poem. It is a musical poem. And this poem has been sung by various singers in various choir. So it is best enjoyed if this poem is sung. It's written in London. Where is the setting? The poet is in London and he feels isolated. He feels like escaping from that city life, and you can say that he felt as if he was exiled by the rural beauty. He wants to escape this city life of London and he wants to go and enjoy the rural beauty. And that is why he expresses his desire, strong desire, to go and enjoy the rural beauty in these lines of the poem. Now, this poem is a nature poem. How we can say that it is a nature poem? There are a lot of elements in this poem which tells us that poet wants to enjoy every bit of nature. He observes nature and he enjoys writing this poem, imagining himself to be amidst nature. Then it is not only a nature poem. If you read the poem, analyze it, you'll find he goes on a spiritual journey also. Because this poem is mentioning his strong desire, his longing to search for peace and tranquility. And my dear children, those who are looking for peace and tranquility, somewhat we can say that they are looking for spirituality. They get peace of mind when they search for something spiritual. There is a sense of escape. As I said, he never liked the city life of London. He wanted to escape from this city life, this mad city life, fast city life, and he wants to go and enjoy his longing for peace and tranquility of Innisfree. This Innisfree place, which has a lot of importance in his life, the time spent there, he remembers again and again in his life. He recollects all those moments which he had spent there. He wants to go back to that place, be alone there, and enjoy his time looking for various things, various beautiful things of the nature, and write this poem. Now, what is this? What is this place? Where is it? Innisfree is not an imaginary place. No, it is a small island on the Lake Lough Gill in the county Sligo. As I said, his maternal side was from this place, and he had spent good time there, good time of his childhood days there in Sligo, which means abounding in shells. It's a coastal seaport in the county town of County Sligo, Ireland, within the western province of Connaught. Now, as I said, this is a lyrical poem. So, my dear children, I would love to sing it for you. Enjoy this poem and note one thing. While I recite this poem, sing this poem for you, you'll feel as if I am trying to take you to that journey through which the poet has gone. I want that you should also derive some pleasure, derive some peace while I am reciting it, singing it for you. Because the ultimate aim of this poem is that poet is looking for peace and tranquility. And he looks for all the beautiful things which he would wish to do. He would wish to find out peace out of those things. Here I start. The Lake Isle of Innisfree. I'll rise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin built there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the beloved glade, and shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the wells of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all the glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evenings full of the linnet's wings. I'll dawns by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's grey, I hear it in the deep heart's core. So, my dear children, I think you all got the essence of this poem. That yes, this is a peaceful poem. This is the poem which takes you, which drives you out of the mad race, the mad fast city life, and it takes you to the place which is peaceful, which is completely silent, and there's plenty of natural beauty all around you. My dear friends, if we take this poem right from the first stanza, I will arise and go now and go to Innisfree. He wants to go there. I will arise, I will go from here, I will go out from here. And where would I go? I is the poet here. Yes, he would love to go to Innisfree. He longs to go to Innisfree. Where? What will he do? He would build a small cabin, you can see in the picture. Built there of clay and wattles made. Wattle is the twisted sticks which are made to make the fences. He would use these twisted sticks to make the boundary. 9 bean rows. He would grow something for him to eat. 9 bean rows will I have there. See his planning, what all things he dreams of. A hive for the honeybee. He would have the place for the bees to make their honeycomb there, and he would be enjoying the bees buzzing. And live alone in the bee loud glade. Glade means an open space. He doesn't want it to be a very crowded place. Rather, he wants it to be a silent, quiet, lonely, open place. He wants that he would be listening to the bees buzzing. And I shall have some peace there. Yes, he feels he would be driving peace. He would be getting ultimate peace, tranquility there when he goes near that. For peace comes dropping slow. Now he's imagining certain things, that what kind of peace he would look. He would look for the peace comes dropping slow, which just like the way the veil drops from the bride's face. For peace comes dropping slow, dropping from veils. And this way, the way we see the morning, how from the night, then we have this morning time, early morning time, when you can see the how bright sun comes out. It is not, if you see the early morning part, when it is about just before the sunrise, you will see that as if the morning is dropping its veil from the clouds. There midnights all glimmer. He finds that even during the midnight, there is a glimmer, the shine of the moon. And the noon, he is mentioning about all parts of the day. It's not only the morning. He has observed the noon. He has observed the midnight sky and the evening. During the evening full of linnet's wings. Linnet is a small bird, right? You can see in the picture a small bird, and he finds as if he would be amidst all these things. The morning time would be so beautiful. The midnight would be so shiny, so glimmering. The noon would be just like the purple glow, and there would be complete beauty. The ultimate beauty can be enjoyed during this time, during all the parts of the day at Innisfree. I will arise and go, for always night and day. Again he says, he's insisting, there is a repetition here. I will arise and go, for always night and day. I hear, what does he hear? He hears the lake water. You can see the lake here, how it comes, and he, as if it is hitting it's touching the shore and making some sound, continuous sound. I hear the lake water lapping with low sound by the shore. It's making some kind of contact with the shore, and that produces a very pleasant sound. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's grey, I hear it in the deep hard score. Now he takes us to that place where he is while writing this poem. He says, while I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's grey. While he is in the streets of London, he would be watching, he would be seriously thinking about his time spent during this. He doesn't want, while writing this poem, he thinks that being in London does not give him that kind of pleasure the way it gives to him when he is amidst the nature in Innisfree. So these are the streets of London, and you can see that he assumes he does not enjoy the life that he's spending in London, and he desires to be in Innisfree, where he would be enjoying nature at its best, nature to the fullest. I hear it in the deep heart score. What does he hear? He hears these roads, these pavements, which are grey, which are dull. And he doesn't like this kind of noise. Rather, he would be thinking about, he would like to go back to Innisfree, enjoying the lake. He would be enjoying the beauty of the night, the midnight, the moonlight. He would be enjoying the sky, which is which looks to be so pleasant, so beautiful during the early morning. And he would be enjoying the birds. He would be enjoying the bee buzzing. He would be enjoying planting something for himself and enjoying every bit of his stay at Innisfree. It's a very simple poem, but it has something related to our life also. We people who are spending our time in cities, sometimes we also get fed up of this pollution, even this traffic, this noise pollution, air pollution. Whatever we see, we don't really appreciate, and we would all love to shift to the villages, to the rural areas, to this rural setup where we would be with the nature, enjoying every bit of the nature. Now, we'll see what this poem is. This was the line-by-line explanation, but now we will analyze the poem. As I said, this is a nature poem. In the beginning, I introduced you that it is a nature poem. Now, what is a nature poem? Here, how can we say that this is a nature poem? This poem is spoken by the poet standing on the roadway or on the grey pavements, and he wishes to go back to the lake of Innisfree in the rural Irish West. And he was influenced by one of the American poets, author, essayist Thoreau. And he also wanted to have some feel of going close to nature, observing nature so closely, and get some pleasure out of it. There is also a mention of certain elements of nature, like he talks about a small cabin that he would make. He would also make some bean rows. He would be listening to the bees in the open space. Then it is not only a nature poem. Of course, it has got elements of nature, but it is also a spiritual journey. how we can say it is a spiritual journey. You see, in stanza 2 and 3, we have read that he wants to get peace. He's mentioned certain things which would ultimately give him peace. What are the things that he mentions? He says that I would get peace, the peace which comes from the dropping from the veils of the morning to where the cricket sings. Cricket is nothing but a small kind of insect. You must have seen it also makes some kind of sound. And it says, shall have some peace in search of wisdom. He is looking for peace. That's why we say it is a spiritual journey. He looks for peace. He is into a journey which is meant for peace and tranquility. And this is to look for wisdom, to search in search of wisdom. He talks about his midnight's glimmer, shine, beauty, right? Then he even talks about the dropping of veils of the morning, how the morning sun, it's not bright at once, right? We see that how at the time of daybreak, how it looks so bright, as if morning is dropping its veil gradually, and we get to look at the bright sun not at once, but there is a gradual shift from darkness to bright day. Even in the noon time, we have seen sky looks purple and it's glowing. Even he hears it deep in his heart's core. He wants to go back to that place. He wants to look for that place. It is at that time when the poet had written this, there was a lot of disturbance in Ireland. So we can say that there is some kind of political journey also. Here he is looking for something that is different from what he is experiencing. He is experiencing the kind of, you can say, some kind of bondages. He is not free. He does not enjoy the city life. He is not enjoying the congested lanes, the congested city. He is not appreciating the noise in the city, and he wants that he should be away from this chaotic life which he finds in the city. And where does he find it? He finds lot of during the time when he was in Ireland, that was Ireland was a part of British Empire, the Irish West, and this part was badly affected because there was lot of poverty, there was lot of backwardness, even this was ravished by famine. And the Irish people had immigrated to places like London, Boston, and New York, and they were all missing their homeland. This is one poem where we find a touch of it, that even the poet had to leave that place. He had to leave for London, and he's again missing his native place, Ireland. And he expresses his desire, strong longing for going there and enjoying something which gives him pleasant feeling, which gives him peace and tranquility. Politics is involved here because it is also associating to the beauty, truth, peace with Ireland. He is searching for how he can look for peace in Ireland. Now, my dear children, other things that we can notice here in the poem. This poem is lyrical in nature. We have seen that. This is not in free verse as we have seen in other poems, but this follows a rhyming pattern. If you see the first line, what is the last word? Last word is free. So the final sound is free. If you see the second line, last word is made. So what is the last sound? It is aid. So how to find the rhyming pair? We have to see line wise, line by line, right? So first line, we have to name it as A, and we have to see what sound it is. If it rhymes with the second line, again it will be A. But here we say free, that is re, does not go with aid. So we won't name it as A, we will say B. But if you see the third line, it says honey bee. Honey bee means the last sound is E. So free E, honey bee E. So again it will be A. This is how you have to find out the rhyming pattern. So if you see the first stanza, we have the rhyming pair Innis free and honey bee, made glade. So we will name it as AB, AB. Similarly, we have the second stanza with the same rhyming pattern, C, D, C, D, then E, F, E, F. Sometimes we just say the rhyming pattern is AB, AB. That is also correct. Now we will notice one more thing about the poem, that this poem is just of 12 lines and there are 3 stanzas and having 4 quatrains. That means each stanza is of 4 lines, right? It's the nature of the theme of the poem is nature and it looks for peace and harmony. Then what is the tone here? While I was singing the song for you, reciting the song for you, I said you must have noticed that this gives the tone itself, the way it is sung. It is meant to be sung. It is to give peace, to give complete peaceful experience. It is even thoughtful because it is not just an escape but also the reason why you want to escape, because you don't like this rush of the city life. You want to get peace and harmony in your life. You are searching for some kind of spiritual, you are longing for spirituality. So it is also a thoughtful theme and thoughtful tone. And you are expecting something. You are expecting something harmonious. You want to have a harmony with the nature. You want to derive some kind of pleasure by setting up a harmony with the nature. So this poem is a very simple poem, but this tells us that how we can get peace even out of these out of the situation that we are experiencing now, even the time that we are going through. This is also a very tough time for all of us. And we always have to look for peace and tranquility even out of these difficult times. Now let us discuss the poetic devices. First we will see imagery. You can very well find out that this poem has got lots of imagery. Visual imagery, right? We can say that small cabin of clay, wattles, then a hive of honeybee. This gives you some kind of images. The moment you read the poem or you enjoy the poem, a kind of image forms in front of you, right? You get traveled, you get yourself transported to that setting where you have a small cabin, you have honeybees, you have the dawning sky, you have the cricket singing, you have the bees humming, buzzing, right? And you have the glimmering midnight, you have the purple sky in the noon, you have these linnet birds' wings. So all these things, they give you a kind of visual imagery. Now you also have a repetition, as I said, in stanza 1 and stanza 3. This is again for emphasizing that yes, he doesn't want to wait here anymore in London. He just wants to get up and go and get what he wants. There is personification in the line veils of the morning. Here morning has been personified. He feels as if morning gradually is removing its veil, and we see the morning sky, the bright sky, gradually from the daybreak to the dark morning time to the bright day. Then we have alliteration. Alliteration again, here we have in stanza 3 line 2, which says, stanza 3 line 2, we have lake water lapping with low sound. So the sound l is repeated, right? So alliteration. Then we have a metaphor. Again, we have a comparison here. So what is compared? Veils in the morning. We have also seen it is personification. It is also a comparison. So it refers to the clouds, how finally the clouds get cleared or the dew gets cleared and we get to see a very clear morning sky. Then we have inversion. Inversion, stanza 1 line 3. What is inversion? It is writing a sentence which could be otherwise written in a correct grammatical way, right? Here it is, 9 bean rows will I have there. Instead of writing, the poet has purposefully used it because it gives a poetic touch to it, and writes that I have there, instead of I have there 9 bean rows I will have there, writes 9 bean rows will I have there. So this is another technique which the poets use, avoiding all the grammatical rules, because they have a poetic license and they can deviate from that, right? So now we will be looking into the message part. What is the message that we get from this poem? The poet wants to tell us that we should remain close to nature, and if we want to search for peace and tranquility, we'll get it in the nature. We should try to derive pleasure, we should look for peace, we should look for extreme, the ultimate peace through nature. Nature is something that gives you peace. If you remain close to nature, it will always help you in making you close to God, close to your spiritual world, and you will be getting a different kind of mental peace, a harmony with the nature. Now let us discuss some of the questions from the poem. As we have already seen, what kind of a place is Innisfree? Innisfree is a small island, right? Where is it? You can refer to the notes that we had discussed. Then name the 3 things that the poet wants to do when he goes back there. He would like to build a small cabin, he would have some bees, he would plant the beans there, and he would love to be amidst nature. What does he hear and what is its impact on him? He hears the bees buzzing, he hears the water of the lake having a contact with the shore and giving a very pleasant sound. And what is its impact on him? He finds peace, he finds tranquility, he gets pleasure out of it. What does he hear in his heart core even when he is far away from? He can hear the beautiful sound, he can hear those the things that could give him, which he misses when he is not in Innisfree. He is able to hear his heart looking for, crying for, wanting for that peaceful place, that peaceful nature. Now we have, how does the poet contrast Innisfree with the place where he is now? He is in London, and what kind of place he wants to look for, or he is longing for? He is longing for Innisfree, which is very close to him. So what is the difference in these two? This is completely an isolated place, a very quiet, lonely place, and having the ultimate beauty of nature here, right? Whereas London is a busy place with streets, busy with all the vehicles, people, it's congested place, and there is lot of rush, and he doesn't find nature there, the beauty of nature there. So this is how he is differentiating the place Innisfree with the place where he is now. Why does the poet miss Innisfree? Because he had spent his childhood days there, and he always longed for peace and tranquility. That's why he's missing this place Innisfree. Now, pick out the words from the poem which shows that he was a nature lover. There are several places, several lines, several things that he has talked about bees, he has talked about the shore, he has talked about the beauty of the morning sky, he has talked about the beauty of the moonlight, right? So there are several places where he has mentioned about the beauty of nature, and he is a nature lover. Peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales in the morning to where the cricket sings. Now, early in the morning, you find that it appears as if morning cloud, the sky is filled with cloud and sometimes even dew, and how this morning sky gradually it removes its veil, or you can say a cover kind of thing, and it removes, and gradually we'll see that we can see the clear sky. So how you can explain? Here it is again you can say it is a personification, and poet is comparing the morning sky, which is filled with clouds, which is covered with clouds or sometimes even dew, and gradually with the passage, with the morning advancing, you can say that it is clearing, and it appears as if the way the veil drops from the woman's face, or you can say it's similarly here morning is compared with the with that bride. So here we have seen so many things that W.B. Yeats, the greatest nature poet, romantic poet, has mentioned about. And we get to know that even we can derive pleasure from nature, and we should go close to nature if we want to enjoy nature, right? So with this, we come to the end of our session. Thank you so much.